What if I told you that a simple, universal secret could unlock more success, more joy, and yes, more wealth in your life? It sounds like magic, but it's real. It's a principle so powerful yet so simple that most people overlook it entirely. This isn't about working harder or hustling 24/7 until you burn out. It's about working smarter. It's about focusing your incredible energy on the few things that truly matter. This secret is called the 80-20 rule, and understanding it is the first step toward transforming your reality from where you are to where you want to be. It's a game changer, and you deserve to know how to play. The 80-20 rule is your permission slip to stop trying to do it all. We live in a world that screams more tasks, more goals, more pressure. But the truth is, most of what we do doesn't move the needle. Most of our efforts are wasted on things that produce tiny results. This principle reveals a fundamental imbalance in the universe. A small number of causes are responsible for a large majority of the results. By embracing this idea, you can finally let go of the guilt, the overwhelm, and the feeling of never being enough. You can start focusing on the vital few activities that create massive impact. Imagine what your life would look like if you could get amazing results by doing less. Sounds pretty great, right? That is the promise of the 80-20 rule. It's a tool for clarity in a world full of noise. It helps you identify the 20% of your efforts that are delivering 80% of your happiness, your success, and your income. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing this pattern everywhere, from your daily to-do list to your financial investments. This isn't just a productivity hack. It's a philosophy for a richer, more meaningful life, and it's available to you right now. So, get ready to shift your perspective. This isn't about being lazy or cutting corners. It's about being incredibly strategic and intentional with your most precious resources, your time, your energy, and your focus. The journey from scarcity to abundance, from feeling stuck to feeling unstoppable, often begins with one powerful idea. For you, this could be that idea. Let's dive deep into what the 80-20 rule is, where it comes from, and how you can start using it today to build the life and the wealth you've always dreamed of. Your future self will thank you for it. The 80-20 rule has a fancy name, the Pareto Principle. It was named after an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto way back in the late 1800s. What did he discover? Something fascinatingly simple. He noticed that about 80% of the land in Italy was owned by only 20% of the population. But he didn't stop there. He looked in his garden and saw that 80% of the healthy, delicious peas came from just 20% of his pea pods. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a pattern. He realized that in many systems, a small input creates a huge output. It's an unequal relationship, but knowing it gives you a massive advantage. So, what does this mean for you today, on Sunday, June 15th, 2025? It means that in almost every area of your life, a few key things are creating most of your results. For example, think about the clothes in your closet. You probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. The rest, they just hang there, taking up space. Think about the apps on your phone. You likely use just a handful of them, your 20%, for 80% of the time you spend on your device. This principle shows us that effort and reward are rarely balanced. The key is to find the powerful 20% and lean into it. Let's break it down with more examples. In business, you might find that 80% of your sales come from 20% of your customers. Instead of trying to please everyone equally, you can focus on delighting that core group of superstar clients. In your personal life, 80% of your happiness might come from 20% of your relationships. Nurturing those key connections will bring you far more joy than spreading yourself thin among dozens of casual acquaintances. The numbers aren't always exactly 80 and 20. Sometimes it's 90-10 or 70-30, but the core idea remains the same. A vital few inputs determine the majority of your outcomes. Understanding this is like getting a map to a hidden treasure. The world wants you to believe that every task on your to-do list is equally important. It's not true. The world wants you to believe every dollar you spend is the same. It's not. Some activities, some relationships, and some investments deliver exponentially more value than others. Your job, starting now, is to become a detective in your own life. Your mission is to identify your powerful 20%. Once you know what it is, you can stop wasting energy on the 80% that doesn't really matter and pour your focus into what creates real, tangible results. So how do you turn this amazing theory into a practical tool for everyday success? You start by applying it everywhere. Let's begin with your work or your business. Look at all the tasks you do in a week. Which ones truly drive your success? Which activities lead to a promotion, bring in the most revenue, or get you recognized by your boss? I guarantee that it's a small handful of tasks. That's your 20%. It might be making sales calls, writing brilliant code, or creating amazing content. The other 80%, endless meetings, organizing files, answering unimportant emails, is likely just keeping you busy, not making you effective. Now, let's talk about your personal life. Are you constantly feeling drained and overwhelmed? The 80-20 rule can be your path back to peace and happiness. Take a look at your commitments and relationships. Which people and activities truly light you up and fill you with joy? That's your 20%. Maybe it's Saturday morning hikes with your family, your weekly painting class, or deep conversations with your best friend. The other 80% could be obligations you feel you should do, draining social events, or mindless scrolling. Start saying a graceful no to the 80% so you can say a powerful yes to your joy. This principle is also a secret weapon for learning and personal growth. If you're trying to learn a new skill, like a language or a musical instrument, identify the 20% of the concepts that will give you 80% of the fluency. For language, this often means mastering the most common words and grammar structures. For an instrument, it might be practicing the fundamental chords and scales. Instead of trying to learn everything at once and getting discouraged, you can focus on the core components. This approach helps you make rapid progress, which builds momentum and keeps you motivated to continue your journey. The power of the 80-20 rule lies in its ability to force you to prioritize. It's not about finding shortcuts, it's about finding the smartest path. At work, at home, and in your personal development, the goal is the same. Identify the vital few and eliminate, delegate, or reduce the trivial many. Ask yourself this powerful question throughout the day: is what I'm doing right now in my top 20%? If the answer is no, you have a choice. You can consciously decide to shift your focus to what truly matters. This simple habit will compound over time, leading to extraordinary results you never thought possible. Now for the really exciting part, using the 80-20 rule to move from financial struggle to financial freedom. This isn't just about saving time, it's about building wealth. The first step is to analyze your income. Where does your money come from? If you have multiple income streams, a side hustle, or freelance gigs, you'll likely find that 20% of your efforts are generating 80% of your cash. Once you identify your most profitable activity, your mission is clear. Find ways to scale it. Can you dedicate more time to it? Can you find more clients like your best ones? Double down on what works. The same principle applies to managing your expenses. Track your spending for a month and you'll probably discover a shocking truth. 80% of your discretionary spending, the money that isn't for essential bills, is likely going to just 20% of the categories. This could be daily coffees, impulse online shopping, or subscription services you barely use. These are your financial drains. By identifying and cutting back on this 20% of categories, you can free up a significant amount of cash, 80% of your potential savings, to redirect toward building wealth, paying off debt, or investing for your future. When it comes to investing, the 80-20 rule is your best friend. History has shown that a small number of winning investments are often responsible for the majority of a portfolio's growth. This is why a simple strategy, like investing in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, is so powerful. You are essentially betting on the top 20% of companies that drive 80% of the market's growth. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks and guess the next big winner, a very low-yield activity for most people, you can focus on the proven 20% strategy of consistent, diversified investing. Let the principle work for you over the long term. To make this real, here's your simple plan. First, identify the top 20% of your skills that can generate the most income and focus on developing them. Second, analyze your spending to find the 20% of habits causing 80% of your financial leaks and plug them. Third, automate your savings and investments into proven, high-yield assets. Stop chasing every get-rich-quick scheme. The path from poverty to wealth is paved with focused, intelligent action, not frantic, scattered effort. The 80-20 rule is your guide. Embrace its simplicity, trust its power, and start building your fortune today. You can do this.